Ladakh se gyalsa le kharyoga naste yutkane Ladakh se sikzo zangpoje kawo nasabo thonga chignang nyampo Ladakh la lepkan sokshik ngon thupche se spaljane khampaje munshi nang gyaung niske smonme khampe nanga yutkan lamo Lamre Charles Po Kurang Ladakh se Lam Lukshol Shezrik Tang Smonme Ster Chupogun Mimang Skunla Won Chukche Sergan Namskanjik Lamo
In the beginning of the 21st century, Leh town was changing a lot. There were lots of new buildings coming up. There were lots of old buildings being pulled down. There were a lot of old heritage structures that were not considered very important anymore. And I think in the light of all that was happening in Leh in sort of 2000, 2001, 2002, I felt very sort of distressed by it, upset by it, and wish that things would change. And one Ladakhi gentleman told me, well, if you really care so much, why don't you do something yourself? So in 2003, Dr. Munshi was introduced to Lamo by John Harrison, who was a conservation architect working here. He was working on Limpo House, which is just above Munshi House. And Dr. Munshi was very keen on getting his house restored and conserved because it was a very important house in sort of the whole Ladakh's history and in the whole sort of cultural fabric that was the old town of Leh. So after meeting Dr. Munshi a couple of times, then Lamu decided to take on this house and restore it. We worked with John Harrison. It took us probably about a whole year to work out a lease deed at that time with Dr. Munshi, because I don't think there were many lease deeds at that time written up in Ladakh. And in 2005, we finally actually decided, we actually started work on the house. John Harrison is from Wales, and he was the conservation architect who worked on this building, and he had a team over here that consisted of Ladakhi skilled artisans as well as labor, mainly from the Doda, and also Ladakh's first conservation architect, Delvin Ammo. She also worked on this building, and other people who also documented the structure for us. Most of the funds for doing the restoration work came from private sources. It was very difficult at the time to get funding from outside or even from within the community, because I think in the early 2000s people didn't also not think much of giving support to mud architecture or to mud buildings. And in Ladakh till that time, a lot of conservation work had been done on palaces, monasteries, but very little work had been done with sort of vernacular homes. There wasn't much attention on that, and our whole idea was to also sort of say, what can you do with an old house? I mean, okay, maybe it's difficult to live in Old Town, you don't have regular electricity, you don't have a constant water supply, but there are other ways that you can also use an old house. And I think that was the whole thing that we wanted to also show, what is the sort of how you can readapt an old house for contemporary use.
Munshi house ya Munshi kampa jiksop chochesi samne sampantor chenmo zena tete no gele chezena yi kampa Munshi kampa wo part sumi na ayt kya chong part chik pozena chong sam khuli na ayt kampa chong sam nimpa no gele tene tewo ka Ladakh la le gyalsa gyuri samnan la le gyapo mane mashke de nan la no teole testing ne te sam khetok pe ka tene gyaltuz la sikskani part po te no gele Tene changmesang kyoto boka nga tang daksa juxtotika oi part kun tene BTC tuzla istiksano so pa ibena khampajing man pa le korang goma kazuli dirin supa tsukste de history yoten gele te so changmesang yok po tene goma gyaposhko de sangala le mane chunjing mane mene met kerele ina nga khampe changmesang yok pe ne japa kyang jing chen te go le be bondring kerele tena japa kyang ba yok pe ka chana chambel dan la yang chenle Testimony te daksa shik stok te mane khan ka te japa kyang bo yang et kerele to taspa bunde tuzla i japa kyang bo shik te tene le te chikchen gyur kyang bo shes dup chezena taspa bunde tuzla chamba sum ko shams kerele chamba sum bo tene yo chamba shana chamba be ka chap te japa kyang bo chala shik sa dia chompa te zane te kan yawa tene enchen le go te chikchen bo sonte testini gapo ka jux pa samnar se mo jans tene le khar jans te samba jans chambo tene yang Ladakh se ja samba ne mi mon po onste ka settle sonte tene le chenbo son kerela tene kyang bang pura ji kerela son pa i mushi khampe sonne sanga khulbo na lai ka ga diri santa lo dunga ga bin ngam chokseno chezena te gaposhko de sanga la yale son pa tene i jiksopo mangcha ngata daksa manisha na tene John Harrison do tuzuk conservation architect both the teams kampa jiksop chokani must expert chigo penele kemise gampo lasa nang skardo gulla ngata the teams kampa nang shirsak nang tesang ma conservation nang jiksop chokani ngala so ba khora last po galik chachas mane khwa yang chang dota jigmet pin so pa ibe jiksop pang must cham tut nyen nanma nang chokso khorika so to diale kemane dware re pakbur re jagma chunga gornang tenna jage ka kwa te patience product pinle son pa yo conservation bang jiksop pang cham tut nyen nanma nang chok so to diale tene ibo yom cha ngati thu ni pia 21st century nang nanme le kazu sha goma le ina nata stana le goma kazu suska ne pura logis po yoten gela te ngati students sang ngati mi sang ngati academician sang ngati research su sang me piang chinchat ibo ngata status pia document choches pia lushen gela
chuleng nemia chin chusumene tenenga Ladakh Arts and Media Organization library nende tenenga library ngai khare yogne tenenga ina munshi company le tena ngai office por le tenenga library na is ma book tene arts media related arts and media related photography tene contemporary arts tene religions tene ngati yang Ladakh se history ka book ma protele tene na section alag choste le reference section magazine section tene gender section tene ika children section ne wale tene meja sujik ika silastum ika abu section ya silastum ni na tene meja nam student dikte tene Monday to Saturday kade students matsuk pa tene jakang festival sinayale
last pinyale tene lama last I resident na last chunji tene ina last ma project tene me to samai ko kai ka exhibition diction samya le jingale tene ye exhibition da daksa jak misum ina la tene inaugurate so te nyale tene I exhibition da tarin ina da chik lushe tene Memang sekolah Joan kini jago nikah sekolah last guna 6,000 tene ini kali last guna sekolah ni sebik dor se ni jumyale tene goma ikani itu likrevo kita ni je shosin jaran ko na Ladakh sang pula sana tene te jani thuli trek experiment dictos punyale tene te thuli trek ka changa kala dik pasana bota sun testing ne jasi photo gas punyale tene ote photo ina ketana rina toxic real toxic ote thong pele tene ote ri thong pasang ote view ketana chile ote photography na ri thong pasang ote inspiration dik chale ma ओते तने ते का ओते कने मतलब ओते मूवमेंट पे कने चार चंकिंग ई ठुली ते का लास्ट एक्सपेरिमेंट चेंज समथे जस्ट बना तने ओते चेंज ना तने इधर चिक का मतलब एक्सपेरिमेंट जस्ट है
Ilamo smala ngata 2009 na I start to step this samala ilami building of proper ngata jixte met kya te on dangai da documentation choste te on da samai ina editing choste then da smala ka luk shidupin da sa ka luk shidup te samala ina editing choste new na stanat then ya suja ngata ya sta chese do pa na ngata ka skul na diksa no stala
सेंटर स्कूल ये चपिक जूनल है तो नहीं करने मता है कौन है मता ले खरियो गयो तो खपा नहीं जो तो जू तो नहीं करने मता ये उसने गई खपा तो ने खपा छे रखे तो नहीं मता ले मुंशी खपा ने तो ने तो बहुत खेत में मता इंस्टॉल टुक को फ्राग ने ना तो ने जिक सब फूलते तो ने लो सुम जिक मता वो कैप्टन तो स्टिंग में तो ने तो बना मता tensan e dandri tu sita zotan sarpel zena chijuna mata ai tse Rigjung lasta mata mopojgi na tuzgun dulin juk sano ina tenas kya mata juni mopojgi ka khagle na nokte lasta gunina so Prasar tene ini kane ta ye juche stunta kole tene mata namme standing karin mata khapa yu pa Ladakh pe na man mo pa yulu lila yotona ju ततेको जिगदल छ मचुवा मता जिक्सो फुटे बोरा जचेस फु मखचन दुगा जेजुते वार्सियो सिस्टम मा गेला जिनो दोले तने तेबे कोल थप से यम मता थप स्मार्ट प्रोजेक्ट मता इका दक्सर मता छमे मि दुला जिक्सेस ला यो तो पैसा मता है लस्ती लस्टा दिजु फुलचे से पिया मत खने मता या सामाजिक न स्टिक मर्सिगा तने इतो से मता खपा पागो जिक्सो फुटे तने इतो से activities more project joining just scouts not up to do it.
The restoration work was at one level quite sort of not simple, but it was manageable. But at other levels, it was also difficult because Ladakhi houses are sort of built over the years. It's not like this whole building was constructed 400 years ago. It was done in stages. So in some places the foundation was weak. In other places the foundation had to be reinforced and rebuilt. We had to go all the way to the bottom and start building again. And in 2000, I think about 3 or 4 years later, one day there was a really bad storm in Leh, and the big Rapsal room totally collapsed. So we had to start again. So these were some of the sort of challenges we encountered as we were restoring the building. I think since the restoration work has been done, in 2018 we received an award of distinction from UNESCO, both for the restoration work that we've done for this building and also for the use of this building. The fact that we have made this building a place where people from Ladakh can come to, they can use the place for sort of creative and artistic expression. We have workshops, we have exhibitions. We work with a lot of the young contemporary artists from the region, whether it's in visual arts, photography, painting, sculpture, music, literature. So it's very much a place that is also used for sort of the ongoing promotion of Ladakhi art and culture.